welcome to episode 14 of Ring Talk with myself, Martin Theobald, and with Steve Goodwin, the head of Goodwin Boxing. Steve's been away for a couple of weeks, so if he looks more tan than I do, then you'll know why.
Did you see last time the comment when we did it, they called us a pair of ghosts?
Did they?
On YouTube, they said they look like a pair of ghosts.
Oh, I think that's the same person who said I spend all my time on Twitter slagging off a certain promoter.
That's right.
No, I did read that. So, cheers for watching anyway. Did you have a good break?
No, really good. Nice break. No phone for 2 weeks. And it is actually good when you don't have a boxing call for 2 weeks.
Yes.
The bit when you come back, you're so refreshed for it.
So was it completely off?
Completely off. Didn't take my phone. And
was that Trish's request?
Yeah, it was a bit of that and a bit for everybody. I mean, Alan had my phone and everybody got a text saying if it's financial, ring Jenny, if it was boxing, ring Kev. So everybody was diverted through that, and I just literally had 2 weeks and didn't have to, apart from watching the Jordan fight and the Okolie Chamberlain fight, didn't have anything to do with boxing. So it's great when you come back, you're fully refreshed and ready to go again.
Excellent. So on that note, you've got a new signing that you can reveal?
Yeah, he makes his debut for us on the 17th of March. Talented kid. Not had the ideal start to his career, which wasn't his fault. A chap called William Webber.
Young lad.
He's only 18, I think he is. He's had 2 fights under Matchroom. Won his first fight, and then he went in his second fight and was matched against a Michael Ballingal kid, a real big punching middleweight. He was a really talented kid in the amateurs. I don't know who match made that fight, but Jesus Christ.
But that was the lad that you said before you've avoided like using him for any of yours because you know how good he is, and to come bring him in as an away fighter against a young lad.
I mean, we were offered him for Brad Pauls and Linus Udofia, who at the time were 4 or 5. I know, I didn't want them. Now, if I'm not going to take them for Brad Pauls and Linus Udofia, not saying that Brad and Linus wouldn't beat them, but there was one of those things where there was nothing to gain.
There's no upside.
There's no upside. But I was turning them down for there. And then Matchroom take him for a 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, good news for him is he's a lovely kid, lovely family. His dad Paul trains him, and we are totally convinced that he'll have a great career with us, and we'll get him to where he should have been, and it will just show that was a blip. And I'm certain that in times to come, it will show that was such a poor decision that was outside his control. And I think he'll end up being a really big fighter. He'll be a TV fighter, and he'll be a champion.
So when we'll see him?
17th of March at York Hall on the David Hay show.
The Matty Askin, Stephen Simmons.
Yeah, there's other fights to be announced for that show, but William Webber will make his debut for us on the Hayemaker show on the 17th of March.
Excellent. And speaking of Hayemaker shows, we've got the upcoming one on Friday with a lot of your talent. Yeah,
unfortunately John O'Donnell pulled out injured. Yeah. The main fight. So Freddy Kiwitt is now fighting Camacho for the English title.
Which is a good fight still.
Good fight. They're not our fighters, none of them. Freddie Kiwitt is managed by my friend Mickey Amu. So I think it's a cracking fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I think you've got that. You've got Joe Joyce is having his second pro fight. Willy Hutchinson's fighting my friend Eric Mokonzo. So
is it Eric? I didn't know that.
Eric's in last minute.
But Eric's been talking about taking it a lot more seriously, hasn't he?
He has.
Team McWells?
Yeah, he really has trained hard for this, and he actually said he's got 2 fights scheduled, one against Willy Hutchinson, one against Dwayne Sinclair, and he's decided he wants to be a home fighter after that. He said he wants to really build a career for himself. He's going to fulfil these 2 away fights, and then he's going to go as home fighter. But he has took this fight very, very seriously. He is really ready for this. He's going to try and give as good an account of himself as he can. He totally respects how good Hutchinson is. Derek will give it a go, and I'll be interested to see how well he does. I mean, Hutchinson's a fantastic talent.
He looked really sharp on his debut.
He's a good kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a world amateur champion, was he?
He's a good kid.
Yeah,
but we'll see if Eric does land on him. We'll see if he's got a chin, won't we?
Well, that's it. I remember when Eric fought Jordan Joseph. Yeah. And it was a very intriguing fight in terms of Jordan being a skillful boxer, but everybody you spoke to about it gave Eric a chance because he can bang. Yeah. And so if he can on Willy Hutchinson, then
just be interesting to see how Willy reacts to that. But anyway, so that's a good thing. And then on the undercard we have Mo Gharib, who was really good on his debut. Jack Newham is on second, and Jack Newham is a really talented kid that we're going to develop along. Sam Gilley is on third. And a fight that people might not realise they should be watching is the 4th fight, which is Anesu Twala against Rhys Saunders. Now, Anesu Twala he's been raved about in certain quarters. He looked good on his debut, possibly hasn't looked as good since. Rhys Saunders was a really top amateur.
Right.
And I remember him fighting Beeden in London, and he basically decked him. He's really talented, Saunders. He's coming to win. That is actually going to be a fight. That's going to tell you something about Anesu Twala, and he has no certainty to win that fight. And when we were talking about the fight with his trainer, Daily Twala, I said, this is a really hard fight. It's not really an ideal fight. And Daily said, we want to prove to people that he can really fight. And trust me, he's going to have to prove he can fight.
Good, because the times I've seen Anesu, technically superb, brilliant on the defence, but I mean, the Chris Lay fight that he had, it was almost like just watching a Mexican standoff that never quite caught fire. And so to see somebody come in there and actually really stick it on Anesu.
This is going to happen. So I think it's a great fight to watch. So it's going to be on Lad Bible, whether it's going to be on, make sure you watch these fights. Then we've got Linus Udofia taking an unbeaten foreign kid on 2-0, which will be interesting to see Linus. He'll come and try. I'm hoping Linus looks really good. He's gunning like his stablemate is for Taylor Jones.
Little race between the two of them. Or Matty Leg.
Or Matty Leg, whoever wins it, because Matty Leg is not without a chance.
No, not at all.
So we've got those two doing that. So then Lyson Dean Richardson, who I've got the utmost respect for, as a boxer, 5-0 with 5 KOs, takes on Jan Belog. I think that's I'm really looking forward to.
That's a hard fight, though, Jan.
It's tough. But the thing is, again, I'm looking forward to all of these fights. I think they're all talented kids, and they've all got a lot to offer. And I think the undercard's going to be good, and I think the fight of the undercard, Twala against Saunders, is the one to watch for. And then on the main event, they've got on the TV slots that are fixed, you've got the Joyce fight, Willy Hutchinson against Eric, and you've got the Freddy Kiwitt against Camacho. So it's a good little card, and tickets have sold well, so
good.
It's gone well.
Good. And then you've got shows coming up in March.
Arfan, Saturday.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the fact I'm there on Saturday as well.
Have a beer afterwards.
Yeah.
So
if I'm still standing, so I'm going up at about midday.
I'll make a beer before then. So we've got, so we're going to finish at York Hall late, and then we've got to train up to Manchester first thing Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And it's really good. In the afternoon, we're going to a preview. We've been very kindly invited on Vicky Hatton's table with Paul Speak, so myself and Josh are there. So we're doing that for the afternoon at the preview show, and then we're obviously off for the evening for Arfan. Arfan's on fairly early. He's on
it's not on ITV box office.
No, so
it's madness. If you're ITV and you're watching this, you've missed a trick completely.
I think they've got them so well.
Yeah, because I think there's a real risk that Lamford Armfield and Low Walsh could both go 12 rounds and not be the most exciting fights, whereas Valilly, Iqbal, someone's going. I don't know who. Valilly looks in tremendous shape.
Doesn't he?
Whoa!
He looks in amazing condition, Simon Valilly.
Yeah,
amazing condition.
I saw a photo of him on Twitter today where he was just in his shorts.
Yeah,
I thought,
doesn't he look good?
That's the kind of geezer that if you saw him on a street, like you.
He can't put muscles on a chin.
Well, yeah, that's it. I say Arfan. You know what Arfan's got?
He lands on his chin. He can have all the muscles he wants in the body, but if Arfan clocks, but I think they've made a serious error in not putting Arfan live.
No, I agree.
Crackers. But I'm sure that the preview is going to be streamed somewhere. So if you're watching it, make sure you watch the Arfan Iqbal fight, because I think obviously Greg Eubank is the fight of the night, but this will be number 2.
No, I agree completely. But in terms of how Arfan's prepared for this, he's a hard man, isn't he? Like, he's just a hard man, and we've seen it against Camacho. That he'll
Tyson Fury again, and
Dillian White.
Yeah,
but he'll do what it needs. He'll do what he needs to do to win. He doesn't. It's going to sound horrible, but it's almost as if like he doesn't really let morals get in the way when he's in that ring. And so if he needs to like stick a nut on Camacho, which he said Camacho headbutted me, so I just kind of shoved it back in on him. Then he did, and he told me once in an interview, if I'm punching someone, I'm not trying to like knock them out, I'm trying to punch through their face. Like, crikey, Arfan. He's a scary man, but he's a lovely bloke as well.
And I hope he can win, because it'll be another English champion for us. And he's still English champion, but he'll still be English champion, and then he'll have his eyes on the British title, not necessarily. I mean, Matty Askin's got a defence against Stephen Simmons, which is a cracking fight in March, but Arfan will be pretty much in line for a shot at that very shortly. So, but he has to get past Simon Valilly, who's no slouch, is he?
No, not at all. I mean, his only loss comes against Myris Bradis, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's no disgrace.
On the Bellew undercard. There's no disgrace in that whatsoever. He was thrown into that at a time when everybody thought, why are you doing that? But but I mean, it's just such a great division with, Okolie, Chamberlain, Watkins, still Camacho there, and Danny Couzens.
Yes, great. There's some really good fights between all of that lot. I obviously wasn't impressed with the Okolie Chamberlain fight. I mean, I think they showed vulnerabilities. You know, I fancy Arfan Iqbal against both of them. I would. And you know, I think that was disappointing. Luke Watkins is still, in my opinion, to fight a decent level cruiser. With all due respect to Robin Dupro, should be a light heavyweight. Yeah. And Mike Stafford, who's about 55. No, seriously, he's very old. He could put him back out of retirement for that. He has very good matchmaking, but he's not yet to fight somebody I think is going to hit him back. I mean, that's why he probably has turned down Arfan Iqbal millions of times. But I think they've managed him well. But I think Luke Watkins is now a target for many people out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right, and then you got the shows yourself in March, which are promoted by Ryan, is it? And
Ryan and Jack are promoting in association with us in March. So they've worked hard on it and got two good shows together. So we're looking forward to that on the 10th, on the 3rd and the 10th, and then we've got the David Hay show on the 17th.
Yeah.
We've got Frank Buglioni and Derek Chisora on the Eddie Hearn show on the 24th. And then I'm off to Preston on the 31st for Marsh Inquin, hopefully winning the English title against Liam Conroy. So it's a
every weekend in March.
Every weekend in March. And working, as I say at the moment, we're working on hopefully some good signings as well in between everything that's going on, so it's quite an exciting time.
Excellent. So I think that covers all of there hasn't been any exciting fights that you can announce yet for...
I made none while I was abroad and in the sun.
So you're catching up.
We're catching up.
So we'll move on to questions. I've got a few in. Thank you very much to anyone that submitted them. From Colin Cooper on Twitter. To serve a proper apprenticeship, how many fights per year should a young pro aim for? Sugar Ray Robinson had more world title fights in a year than most of the current 6-round fighters.
Well, that will depend on if you are Conor Benn with Eddie Hearn and you're funded by TV, you can have 8 fights a year.
Yeah.
If you're
not his rate after that pay now.
No,
fight.
But
you don't want 8 of
no,
them.
but you could build up and you have lots of fights. And Eddie Hearn does get his fighters out more. When he wants to busy, he does tend to get the top, the ones that he wants out as much as he can.
I was going to say he does and he doesn't, doesn't he? Really?
Some of the others that are not the A levels don't get the same treatment, but A level ones that he thinks put bums on seats, he will get them out. So, for example, you can get out that often. The ones on the small hall shows that having to sell tickets for the money, realistically 4 times is as much as you can go to the well, dragging people to watch you.
And that's a lot as well, isn't it? I mean, that's still a big ask.
I think so. Every 3 months.
March, June, August, September, December. And then Christmas.
To get people out, it's hard for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's fairly difficult for them. So I think 4 times is the most. I think Frank Warren once said years ago that the most time a boxer can go to well for tickets is 3 times, and I think Frank Warren is right. And I think that the 4th time is that little bit of an extra push. But 3 times is ideal, 4 times possibly. But all these boxers are striving to be the best at their craft. And it's like serving an apprenticeship there financially as well as everything else, and then they earn the right. The good ones, the ones that pull through, if they're managed correctly, will get the chances of getting the big TV fights and the money down the line.
Yeah, I was chatting with Linus Udofia over the weekend, and he's fantastic in terms of his building outside of the ring and his profile and his relationships to fans, people that he was saying he's never met that are buying tickets from him now. And he was giving me a little anecdote about how he went out for dinner after his last fight with a couple of fans that he didn't know their names, but they bought tickets from him. Just things like that, like building.
But he's doing it right.
Absolutely.
And you see others aren't doing it. You see there are others that are struggling to sell tickets, but they're not doing it. But Linus is doing it. He's doing the right thing. Yeah. And therefore his fan base will just continue to build and build and build. And therefore, but he's a lesson for the others that sit there moaning. Don't moan. Do what Linus does.
He's a blueprint.
Yeah, absolutely.
JD Evans, who was querying allegedly Shane Singleton's purse hasn't been paid by Mick Hennessy from the Peter McDonough fight on the undercard of Hughie Fury Joseph Parker. Allegedly. That's from September of last year. I'd like to ask Steve, if that has happened, what can be done to prevent this from happening to fighters? It's disgusting.
Well, the worry is that I think somebody else covered the fact they've applied to go into liquidation as well. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
But let's say, for example, the Boxing Board of Control do regulate boxing. Yeah. So the question really should be aimed at them, not necessarily at me, because I think there is no reason for boxers not to get paid. But in history, and it's documented, and I don't know whether Mick has. I've never heard this about Mick before, so I don't know if it's true or not. But as a general rule, the Board of Control should have a system to make sure people get paid. But they don't, because if a promoter sets up a limited company
and closed it down.
And they close it down. The boxer doesn't get paid, and they can set up another limited company the next day, and they don't owe that money to the boxer. So, in my opinion, if somebody does that, perhaps they shouldn't be able to hold a promotion again. It will be associated or anything to do with it. So, I think it's really something that the regulators should deal with.
Yeah, I've said it before in football, the fit and proper person test when you're in a football club. If you've got those backgrounds whereby you've already ruined one company or taken one to the well and then given it up, should you be able to? In football, you wouldn't be able to.
Well, I don't believe if you don't pay a boxer that you should be able to promote or have any form of association. Again, so if Mick has done that and hasn't paid Shane Singleton, then I think, I don't know what loopholes to do, but I hope he has paid him.
Yeah.
I hope it's wrong.
Yeah.
But if any promoter doesn't pay a boxer, then they shouldn't be allowed to promote again. That's my answer. But how they impose that, you'd have to ask the Board of Control.
Agree. Rob Brennan, who will Dion Juma be fighting on March 3rd?
We're in the middle of discussing. We've got a potential foreign opponent coming in. It's quite difficult to match him, but we've got somebody now that's having a fight next week that they should win, and then providing they do that, we'll be able to announce the name. It's a fight that's the right type of fight for him after such a long layoff.
Welcome back fight.
A welcome back fight, and after that he'll step up after that.
Yeah.
The guy he's fighting would have a better than 50-50 record, but he's not going to be a killer because Dion has not fought for quite a while, and we want to build Dion after this fight, maybe one more, and then we'll go to the well with him.
Yeah. Andrew Fairley says, could I ask if there's any news on the next fight for Sam Smith from Leeds?
Sam's fighting on the 2nd of March in Leeds on a Mark Bateson show, and I am working on trying to get a Commonwealth title fight.
Okay.
The problem at the moment in the division of the lightweights is all the world champions are sitting waiting for Katie Taylor to fight. They're waiting for the payday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to break into that at this moment in time because they're all just sitting there saying, well, why are we going to fight anybody else? We'll wait for Taylor. So that's difficult. And also Sam at the moment, because of inactivity for Iqbal, hasn't got a world ranking. So I've got to get a world rank. So I've got to work around doing that. Since I've been back, I've inquired about a Commonwealth title. I'm down the road with looking at that, so it would then be let her get the Leeds fight out of the way, and we'll look at whether we can get that stage somewhere.
Okay. She's a big ticket seller up in Leeds.
She does sell quite a few up there. So
popular lady.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get something for her, but we'll get the fight out of the way first. I've made the inquiries. I've got a couple of things in place, so I'm hoping to deliver a Commonwealth title in summer.
Yeah. Speaking of ladies in boxing, it's not even a question on here actually, but it just popped into my head. Ring girls, the hot topic of.
Yeah.
What do you reckon about it? What's the
I just think political correctness gone mad. We've just gone too loony left in some parts of our life. It's just gone crazy. The world's gone crazy. You go. I was in Jamaica. Right? I was in Jamaica sailing down a raft in a river with a guy with a little canoe and we're budging from side to side. Do you imagine in England? You'd have to have helmets on, hats on, wouldn't be allowed. Have to have ramps on the side. I mean, it's gone crazy. And the thing about ring girls. Why should the ring girls they're earning money, right?
Yeah.
So what would you rather a girl do? Would you rather her go and sell her body, do a webcam, go naked on a webcam? Would you rather do ring girling? Do ring girling. Yeah. Let's do it. It's just nonsense.
I chat to the ones you have down there at York Hall, and they all love doing it as well. I've never spoken to one that hasn't enjoyed. A bit of the cat calling that comes out and the wolf whistles.
Why shouldn't they earn a living? Why should you deprive somebody the right of earning money?
Yeah.
They're not doing it for free. They're not going there naked.
Yeah.
They're not prostituting themselves. It's just rubbish. So why shouldn't it carry on? I'd rather see them walking around the ring, Josh going around the ring with his top off with a number card.
Not again, I saw him with his top off in a ring once. It was fucking well disappointing for 12 minutes. Sorry, Josh. Back on, he says, thank you for making Wadi versus Danny Couzens.
Good fight, that.
Brilliant fight.
So both of them have got they're going to be in a big show in London on the 17th of March, and it's a Southern Area title, also a Commonwealth title eliminator. So, it gives them both an opportunity. Danny is definitely improving all the time. I think it's a cracking fight. For both of them, it's the right fight.
Yeah.
And that's it. Wadi has to fight Danny because Danny's mandatory or vacate. Wadi doesn't want to vacate. But the good thing is there's the added, for both of them, that it's a Commonwealth title eliminator.
Yeah.
So they're coming off Luke.
Final one, Anthony Ridley. What does Steve think of the bantamweight world title situation with Burnett vacating and Butler getting a shot at the IBF? So to add a bit of meat to that, it's that yesterday Ryan Burnett vacated the IBF title, which is then announced that Paul Butler, part of Matchroom,
Yeah.
is going to fight for the same title, and then you suspect should he win, we'll see at some point.
So what's happened here? What's happened here? Eddie's looked here and thought, I want Bennett to defend one title. I can create another world champion here. He's gone and made the Butler fight, then persuaded Ryan Bennett it's a good idea to move. So he wasn't really, it was all part of the deal. He then slips in Butler for the world title. Bennett wins. Butler wins. Unified world title, more money.
Yeah, British showdown.
Yeah. It's very, very smart.
It's classic Matchroom, but for as much as that annoys me, you also have to sit there and go, yeah, fair enough.
Smart.
It's a narrative that you can build up over time.
I mean, the problem with the lighter weights is they don't have the same appeal, do they, as the bigger weights?
And what are you going to do? Bring in Lee Haskins, Stuart Hall?
It's the problem. He doesn't do. I mean, I remember speaking to David Hay when we were talking about. He doesn't get excited by the lightweights.
Yeah,
he doesn't, and I think that's the same for a lot of people. People like the bigger weights. I mean, I get a bit, with all due respect to the skill set of some of the fighters, you get a bit bored.
But why is the money at the bigger weights? Because people get interested in it.
Yeah, it's just supply and demand, unfortunately. So I think it's really good they're going to create it, but it's still, I think it's a smart move because Butler at the moment hasn't really got. He signed in from Frank Warren. He gives him the opportunity, creates a world title. We can turn around and say he's turned Butler into world champion. He's got Burnett sitting there as a world champion. They can either then have a unification or have a couple of defences and then meet and try and build it into something big. And Hearn's good at building things into something big, isn't he? So.
Yeah. And then Nayawinyo will come along and wipe out all of them. So, just wait for that. The monster from Japan.
You reckon?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've not seen him.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, Superfly, just incredible.
Like, will he come and...
he'll he'll take out all of them. If not Tete, he'll do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So.
I think,
But Tete's never going to fight them, is he? Because you've got the promoter conflict and then you go back up to that again, so you're never going to have
But
that.
then Warren said, and I don't know how true it is or not, he said, I'll pay for Tete to go onto your card, so you haven't even got to pay him. I'll pay for him to go there and fight Burnett.
But he's also said that Anthony Yard wants to fight Frank Buglioni, and then the caveat in it's got to be on his show, on his terms, on his basis. It's nonsense. So promoters can say one thing, but they really let it slip. They mean another.
Yeah, but I mean on face value, would that let him go there? But anyway, it's.
And do you know what? He may well have done that, and it may well have been a good business decision. It may well have been he offered that. And do you know what? I've no disputes, but people always say things to hype up fights.
Yeah.
So he may well have done that, Frank. And to be honest, it's quite a good move because Tete obviously doesn't sell a ticket.
Yep.
So it would have been. Makes him relevant. So if Frank has done that, and I'll take him as well he has, then I think it was a good move. And Eddie Hearn done the right move by not accepting that, I think.
Yeah. That's it for questions. So I think we've run out of.
Yeah, we're done. So next we'll be doing a review on all the action this week.
You got all the stuff that are gone, all the stuff that's coming up. It could be a long one next week. But
could be.
But thank you very much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you then.
Thanks a lot.